My name is Max Magus, and I am the advocate for the reigning, defending, undisputed Ramblers Unleashed WrestleMania 41 Predictions Champion, Mare. Tonight on Ramblers Unleashed. Is the Baron happy with what happened on Raw regarding the Women's Tag Team Championships? Is J-Bone too old to appreciate today's product? Why didn't Dizzy get a Slammy for his golden voice? What did Max commission for the Baron? Find out next on a special Rusev Day edition of Ramblers Unleashed.
This video contains gratuitous use of profanity and uncomfortable pauses to compensate for lack of professionalism and original thought. Viewer discretion advised.
The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Oh, it starts right now, and welcome to your Tuesday Night Delight. It is Ramblers Unleashed. We are on the air, and man, this is the WrestleMania Fallout, Raw Fallout, NXT Fallout. Holy moly, we have so much to dive into tonight. My name is Dizzy. Alongside me, we'll get into some intros here in just a few moments because we have a hell of a show for you tonight. First and foremost, let's get these introductions going, and let's introduce my best friend, of course, the person who would never even think about eating Culver's without any one of us, especially me. And he is the only guy that I know who pops bigger for Joel Gertner than any of us. J-Bone, you are the last trader. You can address him as Mr. Magus, but he is a neighborhood heel, and Baron, you and I can call him the mighty Maximus Magus. Golfers clap. How are you, Max?
I'm not going to lie. I'm exhausted. I've had a very long day, but oh my God, we have so much to cover tonight.
Yes, we do. We totally do. Max, from the desk of Max Magus coming up a little bit later on in the program. Next up, though, the person whose catchphrase is and will always be Baron, please.
999.
Yeah.
Can't say 420 no more.
You can, but
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, he gets higher than airplanes and hates AEW more than anyone that I know. And man, we wouldn't have him. We wouldn't have this show without him, honestly. Ladies and gentlemen, golfers clap. He is the one and only Baron. And we've got your buzzkill moment later on in the program too. Baron, how are you, buddy?
Good. I'm reaching out here, and I am asking that we take the title away from the neighborhood heel, Max. He has turned babyface throughout the last few months here.
Oh,
he, in my eyes, and I think J-Bone could probably agree with me on this one, he's lost his heel appeal.
Heel appeal. I like that. I like that.
Listen,
that.
Bring back the old Max.
He's such a sweetie pie.
He's just a suck up.
You two forced me into this. Do you know how you forced me into this? You had Culver's without us. Yeah. That made me have to be nice to Dizzy. This is your fault.
So is our best friendship just an act, though?
No.
Yeah. What this?
Do you remember what Heyman said when he laid out CM Punk? You forced me to do this. Our friendship is real, but they forced me into that.
Yeah.
But it's all based on something. It's all based on food. That's not real.
Food's totally real.
Listen, Grandpa, don't tell me how to live my life. Go take your meds.
How can you say food is not real? Food is life, J-Bone. Okay?
Well, yeah, you have to eat to survive, but you shouldn't base a relationship, a friendship, or something on that level on food. Saying.
No. The friendship was formed
because that can get
betrayal.
kind of kinky. I mean, it's 2025. You guys can do whatever you want to do.
Yes,
but
that betrayal involved food, but the friendship was forged because of betrayal.
Yeah, what you did with that food, that is what forged this friendship. And don't ever down Culver's, okay? I love Culver's. Max loves Culver's. Everybody can agree on this show that we all love Culver's. So don't downgrade Culver's by saying, oh, it's just a food.
I would
Feed
never.
me,
I would.
Seymour.
I would never do that to my place of employment.
Well, nonetheless,
just...
I still say we take away the heel from Max. He's no longer heel. The way these intros have been going, it's a straight babyface work. For all the fans and all the people behind me, we want the old Max back.
I'll take
Max,
because all the hate's on me. I'll take the heel. Thank you.
What do we got here? A cup of haters?
Oh!
A cup of haters?
What do we have here, huh?
You know what? Clearly, the Baron doesn't want or deserve his presence.
My name is Max Magus, and I'm a certified heel and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here is Big Dizzy, and he's got a voice for podcasting, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, whalers guys in the room. How you doing?
Yeah.
And if
there's your intros. There's your intros right there.
Hey, Baron. I think whatever you had right before we went live kind of floated over here because I'm starting to hear shit.
Well, let's introduce the guy who's hearing things, the producer of the show, and the final trader, and who likes to gift other people covers without inviting his fucking homies. And by the way, Mrs. J-Bone, we are still waiting for you to introduce J-Bone to that chair that we sent you. I'll just say it. A check has been pretty nice. I'm just saying, take care of that for us, please. Ladies and gentlemen, golfers, clap for J-Bone.
It almost went through the TV the other night because she said before night 2 started, she said, "I'm warning you, if John Cena wins, this table's going through the TV." And I said, "Holy shit, really?"
Well, we have your professional podcasting opinion coming up soon, so we do have to give a couple of congratulations, though. And that is because we had a contest on whoever had the best WrestleMania pick for your for the predictions. You get free Ramblers Unleashed merchandise. And Max, I'm going to let you, because basically you did it in the intro, but go ahead and introduce and announce the winner of that free Ramblers Unleashed merchandise for WrestleMania 41 predictions.
Ooh, I get to do this live too. I like that.
Yeah, how you do?
My name is Max Magus, and I am the advocate for the reigning, defending, undisputed Ramblers Unleashed WrestleMania 41 predictions champion, Mare.
Mare is the winner. Congratulations to Mare. Do I have an applause? Hang on just one second. I don't know if I have an applause. Here we go. There we go. Listen to your fans, Mare. Congratulations. Your merchandise is on the way, and we're going to do it on SummerSlam too, but we're going to do it something different, okay? So for SummerSlam, it is 2 nights. They just announced it on WrestleMania. It is 2 nights. So we're going to have you pick one of our predictions. And whoever picks the best prediction out of one of us, the 4 of us, you'll get something. We don't know what it is yet, but you're going to get a prize. And we're going to talk about it just because we don't know what we're going to do. Right.
A new car.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I don't feel like Oprah, you know. You get a car, and you get a car, and you get a toaster because you suck.
I just remember the classic voice from what was that? The Price is Right. You always heard the voice. You never saw the guy. Well, you did see the guy once in a while. They would show him, but most of the time it was just the voice. It'd be like,
"You got
behind door, behind door number 1. Yeah. It's a brand new car."
Yeah. But hold on, you got to be more puker than that, though, J-Bone. You got to go, and behind door number 1, it's a brand new car.
Yeah, that's how they sound. Exactly.
It's a 1999 Ford Escort.
Sounds.
That's how they sound.
That's how they do it, man.
I'm going to move us away from the Price is Right talk, and I'm going to make the final two introductions real quick.
Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fifth member of the Ramblers Unleashed for this show would just be four guys talk. What? That hurts my feelings.
Oh, more than so. Mir said that Max's intro sucked more than Mark Nash introducing John Cena last night on Raw. Mir. And we just sent you free merchandise and you turn heel on us? Dude. TF, bro.
He's been known to be a little sassy at times.
Wow.
Maybe he meant the one at the start of the show, like the one that didn't involve him personally, I'm guessing.
Well, no, I repeated word for word what I said in the recording.
Yeah, no, we hit intro. We featured it on the intro.
Yeah, I know, but there was a part 1 and a part 2. The part that was about Mir, and then like the other part.
Well, I mean, it was the same thing, but the other part had to introduce what's going to happen on the show tonight.
Maybe he didn't like that.
Well, Mir, you can suck it up, Buttercup.
All right. So, the fifth member of the Ramblers Unleashed is you, the viewers. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate having you. Yay!
Minus Mir.
And ladies and gentlemen, the man who gives us our identity, the Ramblers Unleashed identity, the man with the golden voice, the man who puts all the stories together for you. Please give it up for my best friend, Dizzy.
You're far too kind. Which, by the way, so again, I was looking in the closet because I'm like, you know what? I have a piece of history from this show. And I found it in the closet tonight. Look, it's our old logo.
Was that Gen 1 logo? Is that the first logo?
That is the Gen 1 official Rambling About Wrestling logo with the ringside Ramblers. Of course, you can see on the bottom here.
That's from like over 10 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and look how far we've come.
10 years ago? I'm thinking about 15.
we got about 10 more subs.
A whole new account, though, right? Or is this?
No, this is the same account. No, this is the same. Yeah, no, this is the same channel. Just a different name, but we're the same guys.
Same dudes.
Same dudes.
About 15 different hiatuses in between that 10-year period.
We're going to hold off those hiatuses, though. We're going to hold off those.
We're cooking.
There was COVID and all this.
Yeah, there was COVID and there was a lot of
You know what? I don't like the way I've been treated tonight. 13 or 14 more of these insults, and I'm leaving.
Don't worry, Max. I got your back, okay?
I appreciate that.
I got my notebook. I'm going to keep track of this.
I got your back, buddy. Well, let's talk some WrestleMania 41. WWE announced today that WrestleMania 41 was the most successful and highest grossing event in the promotion's history. Now, according to a statement from WWE, the annual event drew 124,693 fans across 2 nights at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. The main event saw the first night saw Seth Rollins defeating Roman Reigns and CM Punk in a triple threat match, while John Cena headlined the second night and beat the undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes to win his record-breaking 17th World Championship. Viewership was also up to the PLE at Mania 41. It saw a 114% increase over the record set at WrestleMania 41 last year. The event was live streamed in the U.S. on Peacock and available to a global audience of over 700 million Netflix subscribers. Thank you, J-Bone. Courtesy of the 10-year rights deal signed with WWE in January 2025. But with all the hits that there were some misses too, and we're going to talk about it tonight, including WrestleMania 41, Sunday saved the best for last as John Cena defeated Cody Rhodes to become the new undisputed WWE Championship. But it was done under a controversial circumstance as Travis Scott interfered in the match. And now many fans feel that this is the worst WrestleMania of all time after Cena's win. Following Mania 41 on Sunday, one fan expressed frustration on Twitter, calling for Triple H to be fired from creative after what they felt was a disappointing WrestleMania 41 weekend. They specifically mentioned being upset about the way John Cena won, saying, and I quote, "Fire Triple H from creative. That was whack-ass weekend, bruh. Yes, I wanted Cena to win, but what the fuck was that?" End quote. Another fan went to Twitter, now known as X, and said the whole main event felt pointless. They also called it one of the worst WrestleManias ever, saying again, and I quote, "The entire main event was pointless. I have to say one of the worst WrestleManias ever." Another fan didn't hold back, saying this was one of the worst, if not the worst WrestleMania ever compared to WrestleMania 27. They said it didn't feel like WrestleMania at all, that unlike past years, the excitement just wasn't there. Another fan took a shot at John Cena, saying he promised the worst WrestleMania moment and actually delivered on it, saying, quote, "Cena said he was going to give us the worst WrestleMania moment, and that's what he did," end quote. Another fan tagged TKO Group on social media, demanding they bring back Vince McMahon. They called WrestleMania 41 the worst ever and didn't hold back their frustration, ending the post with a furious outburst saying, quote, "At TKO Group, bring back Vince McMahon, FFS, worst WrestleMania ever, you bastards," end quote. A fan tweeted directly at Triple H, calling it the worst WrestleMania of all time. They said it was incredibly disappointing, especially the ending, and added they were just glad they didn't waste any money on it. Another fan called it the worst WrestleMania ever, saying it'll be remembered for John Cena cheating to get the win. They were upset that the record books will show Cena's victory without mentioning how he hit Cody Rhodes and used the championship belt to do it. They called the whole thing a disgrace. And the list of complaints goes on and on and on and on. And guys, more basement bookers for some. And for them to say, bring back Vince, bro, do you really know what you're saying? Do you know what you're saying? Do you really want that? I found that remarkable, Max.
I mean, come on. These are the same people, though, that don't believe the allegations against Vince. Let's just be clear about that.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm all for everybody having their own opinion. That's great. Have your opinion. But damn, do you not like anything? Seriously, do you go into a grocery store? I don't like your layout. I need you to change it. In fact, I'm going to need you to bring back the old CEO of the company. Are you like this when you do other shit? Or is it just when you're talking about wrestling, guys? Get over yourselves. I
do that all the time when I'm shopping. I'm like, hey, man, those donuts from yesterday looked really good, but I just didn't have the money to get them. Can you bring those back?
Yeah. I mean, look, like I said, I'm all for everybody being allowed to have their own opinion, but you people bitch about every little thing, and it's getting tiresome. This is why nobody likes the IWC. This is why Triple H has given up on listening to people like you, because you can't just sit back and enjoy something and take it in.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the question of the day. Do you think TKO should listen to the social media chatter and fire Triple H? Max, what's your opinion?
No, I think Triple H is one of the best things that's ever happened to this business.
Yeah, I will agree. I think what Triple H is doing, and he even said, look, there's going to be some hits and there's going to be some misses. And when there's misses, we'll learn from those and we'll figure it out. But Baron, this is going way too far, man.
I mean, this is typical wrestling fashion, right? Like, I mean, this is what we do. We complain about something every week. Our fans do every week, right? I mean, I will say this, and I'm not joining the IWC. I will say this was not, on paper, the best stacked WrestleMania we've had.
Yeah, but even under Vince McMahon's reign, WrestleMania's never really hit the mark. There were some that did and some that just didn't, you know?
Well, I mean, that's hard to compare. I mean, like Vince, I mean, I'm not backing this guy up at all because Fuck Vince McMahon. If you agree with me, say it in the chat. Fuck Vince McMahon. But please agree with me. Please, someone out there, just fucking say it. No. But he created some of the. Oh fuck! He created some of the best WrestleMania, so we can never ever say anything against them.
No. He did. But I'm saying to compare, he had a lot of hit and misses too.
Well, yeah. I agree. I agree. But
yeah,
I don't think Triple H is doing anything wrong here. I don't think anything is bad happening.
No, I think that it's new, and I think that what they expected, especially the buildup of John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, the buildup was incredible. And the way that it all went down, first a match looking slow, and then Travis Scott to come out and fuck it all up. And for the way that the finish was, I think that's what people are pissed off about. Now, J-Bone, I don't think. Go ahead, Baron.
You think the fans are pissed about the finish? Is that where they're?
They said somebody just said that they were pissed off about the finish, that John Cena it's not going to go into the record books of how John Cena won.
I think it will 100% go in the record books, and I think that's the part that should have been played. I was thinking more so the fans are pissed off on the whole story, because we really got a story with The Rock, bringing John Cena into the fold, and we got none of that.
Yeah, that's another thing that people are pissed off.
I think that's, and I will agree with those fan bases because, absolutely. What the fuck was that about?
Yeah, where was he? He was quiet on social media. He was quiet on everything. He didn't show up for any more tapings or television for WWE. Somebody pointed this out. What's really going on backstage? I tweeted out a video from Coach on X, on our The Ramblers pod account, that I think people should go watch, because it does point out he was backstage with all that creative. He was backstage for everything back in the Attitude Era, back in the Aggression Era. And if anybody would know, he would know that there's probably something else going on backstage that we just don't know about, J-Bone. And that's what people are pissed off about, is that The Rock wasn't there. We got Travis Scott. We didn't want Travis Scott. The finish was bunk.
I don't think. Okay, so what you just said is there's certainly parts of that I think are true. Certain parts of that. Some fans didn't like this vision. They didn't like that vision. They didn't like Travis Scott. The biggest portion of what I think people didn't like, and I'm actually gonna throw my wife's opinion on air here, out of love and respect, and try to explain her vision of, not vision, but her opinion. Okay, so just bear with me here for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
What I think fans are upset about is the fact that John Cena, and I can understand this. I just want to make that point known. It's not like, oh, this is my wife's opinion and she's wrong. No, I get it. I understand it. I may not agree with it, but I can respect it. Okay. This is John Cena's last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going into, we're heading in, we're almost into May now, we're in the, last couple of weeks of April, and he even on Raw counted down X amount of dates that he's got left with the company. He pointed that out for us. So the fans' point of view is, if this is your farewell thing, and this is what you want to be known for, why are you doing this? Why are you going against the fans? Why? And number two, why did they make him champion? if this is your last hurrah, why he should be putting over the next generation. And yeah, he's been on a losing streak, and he doesn't have to lose everything, but that's I think that's what fans are pissed off about. They're like, you're heading out. This is your last hurrah. Why are you doing what you're doing? Because it makes absolutely no fucking sense. I think that's what the point of view is. A lot of people's
and he is going to make the next generation look good.
Yeah,
he's going to make them look good over the next couple of months, and then drop the belt to somebody deserving.
See, and I believe he'll do that.
But what was that RKO about on Monday night?
Well, they're setting up for Backlash that's coming into St. Louis.
Well, yeah, I know, but so are they going to drop? I mean, obviously they can't drop the belt to Randy.
No.
They're not.
I think Cody's going to probably take a little time off. The man's has been traveling nonstop for 2 years now, I guess, at this point.
He's been a champ for over a calendar year. So yeah, it's time to take
for a little break and then come back and take the belt back off of John Cena. I think John Cena is probably going to put over more people being the champion and winning matches than the other way around. Personally, I mean, there's nobody on that roster name-wise that can even remotely compare to John Cena as just an entertainment aspect.
Well, right? Not at all.
I mean, that right there puts people over by wrestling them. It wasn't Cody Rhodes selling out tickets at WrestleMania 41. I hate to break it to you guys. It was John Cena. It was John Cena selling tickets at Elimination Chamber. It was John Cena selling tickets at Rumble. Of course, other people were obviously selling tickets, but he's the primary name into that. I think
I still believe he is a draw, and I don't know. I don't know what the general consensus is now that he's a heel and he's doing this and he's champ. Is he still a draw now? I think to a degree, absolutely, because people want to see. They're like, holy shit, what is he doing now? Now I want to see what he does next. They're going to be hanging on every freaking word of it. So yeah, I get why people are pissed. It's not my point of view. I wanted him heel for the longest time, and we're getting what we're getting now. I think we're getting a very unique John Cena. I'll tell you what, I was laughing my ass off. Do you guys know the comedian Ed Bassmaster and his different characters he does?
Yeah.
Oh, would you look at that? Wait, that's not him, no mind.
Yeah, no, that is. Oh, would you look at that? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay. That guy. Yeah. Though his one character, he goes, he always has that smirk and he goes, psst.
Yeah.
Psst, looks at something, psst, and people are like, what the fuck? Take a look at John Cena's face when he's in the ring, and he'll look at someone and go, he's doing the Ed Bassmaster thing. It hit me the other night, and right before he started talking on Raw, and he's walking around, and he's like, and that smirk he has, guys, I was laughing my ass off. I was like, oh no, it's Ed.
Max,
there go my earbuds.
I do have a point, but look, Mrs. J-Bone's in the chat.
Straighten up, fellas.
Listen, Dave LaGreca of Busted Open Radio actually reminded me of something earlier. Oh, by the way, Dave, please take your blood pressure meds. I saw that video you released. You look like you're about to have a coronary. Let's just chill just a little bit. Dave LaGreca was talking about how for the last 10, 15 years, everyone's talked about and complained, oh, John Cena buries everybody. John Cena. Listen, I've been around this business a long time, and let me tell you what. John Cena has not buried anybody. First off, if anybody got buried when they were facing Cena, it was the bookers that buried them, not Cena, because he doesn't have as much power as you think he does. He's got some stroke backstage, but he doesn't have that much. He can't just go back there and say, you know what, I'm going to bury this guy. And just because you take a loss in a match does not mean you're getting buried. That's not what getting buried is. There were a lot of complaints that Joe Hendry got buried in his Randy Orton match. Joe Hendry himself took issue with that and corrected the haters and said, no, I got offense in. I even got to do my pose in the ring before Orton hit me with the RKO. I'm very happy with how that match went. This match, whether you agree with me or not, was not Cody getting buried. Cena gave him the honor throughout the match. This match was very well done outside of that idiot getting involved at the end. I'm not a fan of Travis Scott. We've talked about that. But I think this match was otherwise booked very well. I think that both of them did a damn good job of telling the story in the ring. That's my opinion.
All of this has to play out. It's going to. It's got to, because we're not done with the story yet. And this is, if anything, this is John Cena's story. This isn't Cody Rhodes' story. This isn't The Rock's story. This is Cena's story, since it's the last hurrah. So what's going to happen with John Cena as we keep going forward? I don't know, but I am with J-Bone when he mentioned that, this is a different iteration of John Cena that we've ever seen. And we have always wanted to see him turn heel. This is it, folks. This is what we've asked for. This is what we've wanted. WWE listened, and this is it. We got to take it or leave it. And if you leave it, then you can't bitch about it because you've left it.
And that's the problem. A lot of times, I think, WWE doesn't listen to the fans. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They listen to the fans entirely too much, okay? Let's be honest here, fans. Hate to break it to everybody, but we're not bookers. We don't book for a multi-billion-dollar company. Right. We're not going to outbook them. Simple as that. Just get over the fact. They know what they're doing. I mean, some of the booking may be very questionable. Don't get me wrong. But, we don't run this company. We're fans. Of course, we want to have our voice heard and whatnot, but I wish they wouldn't take everything from the fans, because there's a lot of things that I don't agree with. I don't agree that we have to get all these people from AEW or the indie shows. I think there could be so many better options out there. There's just so many things. And I think the John Cena and Cody Rhodes thing is the very last thing we should be picking on. We've been screaming for this for how many years now for him to go heel?
Yeah. And, with that miss, though, there was a hit. And this is where we get into J-Bone's professional podcasting opinion.
Uh-oh.
WWE dropped a massive announcement during WrestleMania 41 weekend, officially confirming they've acquired Mexican Lucha Libre powerhouse AAA. Move came with the added reveal of a new Worlds Collide event set for June, already signaling big plans ahead. So according to sources who spoke with Fightful Select, conversations between AAA and potential new partners have been floating around for years, but once WWE TKO merger finalized, the chatter started pointing towards WWE as a serious contender, and WWE kept the deal close to the vest. But sources believe that it was finalized shortly after AEW and CMLL revealed their own Arena Mexico collaboration, a move that likely accelerated the process behind the scenes. But not everyone is fully convinced. Some AAA talent reportedly remains skeptical of the announcement, raising doubts that the Roldan family, who've run the AAA for decades, would truly step aside and give up all the power. One name that keeps popping up amid the speculation is Alberto Del Rio. Now, for years, WWE reportedly issued a hard no regarding any potential return for the controversial former champion. Del Rio himself has claimed that talks have happened at times, even stating that he'd never work for WWE again. Now, those close to Del Rio say the tone's kind of shifted, with one source suggesting, quote, it's no longer contentious, end quote, and that decisions have indeed taken place about potential appearances. Whether that means Del Rio could surface at Worlds Collide or another AAA-related event remains unclear, but the door may no longer be locked. As for the finer details of the AAA deal, there's still a lot to be clarified, J-Bone, but WWE has yet to confirm how much control they now have over AAA's operations and how talent on both sides will be affected moving forward. So,
yeah, it's a big question mark. Yeah.
So the deal with AAA and the WWE, massive. But I want your opinion. Now with Vince McMahon gone, out of the company. He's gone. We have Triple H now. Do you think that Alberto Del Rio would come and work for Triple H?
I'm sure at some point. I'll tell you what. I'd like to be a fly on the wall for that one. You know, I've seen clips of him in AAA, and he looks like he's in pretty good shape. You know, I think he's been in better shape, but you know, I remember him as champ before. It's tough because I think with WWE and TKO at the top of this, I think one thing that people have to remember is I think people are going to get tested, you know, for stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, I think that's going to control maybe part of the decision. We don't, you know, and look, I'm not here to judge. I have no idea how ADR's been doing behind the scenes. Has he been behaving himself? I think we can throw out all the stuff that he was going through with the potential. What the hell was it? Kidnapping and abuse and all that stuff.
Well, he also got in trouble for throwing chairs at fans and things like that during one event where he just absolutely blew up.
Yeah, well, I'd blow up too if, you know, fans just constantly threw bags of piss at me. I think I'd want a few heads to roll too. Just saying. But that's their culture, unfortunately. And no, that's not racism. That's just stating facts. Shit. Look out. You see people with, you know, balloons in their hands. All, you know, like, oh,
I think it hit with batteries, though. It wasn't piss. It was batteries, right?
Batteries, yeah.
Oh, I'm just saying.
When we do that, everybody's throwing batteries at people. But nonetheless, I would feel the same exact way. I would be throwing a chair.
Yeah, it was like batteries, and it was coins, and it was all sorts of shit.
It was all kinds of fucking heavy shit.
And that's, like I said, that's their culture. It's a very physical, kind of unruly, you know, that's how their audience is. Unfortunately, you know, I wouldn't want, as a performer, good or bad, heel or whatever, I wouldn't want to be hit with any of that as I'm trying to do my job. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're going to have to wait and see in the long run what's going to happen. Like, I think some of this stuff they're going to kind of like, you know, put out like, hey, guess what? Boom, here it is. But I think some of this stuff behind the scenes, as far as, regulating champions and seeing who's going to be, you know, presented more, who's going to be put as the face of the AAA brand. That's going to be interesting to watch. And I think we already kind of know they've already featured Vikingo at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. So, you watch out for him at NXT and WWE events. It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. Yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see. Because like I said, none of us really know exactly what's going on behind the scenes with ADR. We're just going to have to wait. I don't really have an opinion as far as whether I want to see him go or not. If he's behaving himself and he, you know, gets tested and he passes and he's cool with the new regime, so to speak, then let's see how it plays out. Because, you know, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's all in progress right now. The AAA deal is huge. Go ahead, Baron.
Well, I was going to say, I think for, you know, like, I don't think this is WWE just buying a place just because, like, they're buying territories, like old territory days, right? Yes. Could I Max, am I kind of correct on that? Trying to move their promotion into another region to reach more audience, and that's what they're doing. It's not because, like, AAA is a hot commodity. They're going to send some of these wrestlers from WWE to AAA to perform there, right? That's going to cross-promote. That's going to bring all kinds of other individuals in. It's going to build the brand. They're doing it with TNA, folks. I'm sorry, TNA guys in the chat. That's what they're doing with TNA.
They're doing it with AEW, too. I mean, AEW acquired ROH, they acquired CMLL, so that's what they're doing too.
Yeah, they're branching out to these territories and like promotions to build upon. It's not to, so it's a smart move, a business move.
Can I recommend that the first guy we send to AAA be El Grande Americano?
I think that's why his character was created, right? Like,
maybe, I don't know.
I think it has to be. That's the only thing that would make sense for him to be down there and do that. I think that's why the character was kind of created.
Be like Chad Gable, you better have a thick skin, man, because you're gonna have about 1,000 bags of piss thrown your direction.
Peg him with coins and batteries and shit, man.
Yeah, I don't wish that. I'm just saying.
No, I know. Yeah, go ahead, man.
I just want to point out on the subject of Del Rio, I am not for his continued employment now that WWE owns Triple H, and let me tell you why. He was indicted by a grand jury on charges of kidnapping. You don't get indicted by a grand jury unless they have a pretty good case against you. And the only reason the charges got dropped is a witness disappeared. Listen, when do you usually hear about witnesses disappearing? Usually that is mafia related, mob related, stuff like that. His witness disappeared.
Cartel
related, yes. I don't want him continued employment. He went from champion to fired in the course of a weekend, in my opinion. That's the way it should be.
Well, I'm pretty positive it came out in stories ages ago that Del Rio's father was part of the, cartel.
There, see?
We're gonna.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, and now, I mean, like it was a long time ago. I read about that, but regardless of that situation, I think the abusing and everything else which has came true. And all the bullshit he did while being at WWE, why would they want to continue employment with him?
Right. Yeah. It's going to be just something that we'll definitely have to watch with the whole AAA thing and what may happen with Del Rio. We'll just have to wait and see. But it's time to go from the desk of Max Magus, and Kurt Angle is throwing in his gold medal level support behind a long-standing call from wrestling fans, and that is, Max, give Chyna her solo WWE Hall of Fame induction. While the late ninth wonder of the world was inducted posthumously in 2019 as part of DX, many still believe Chyna deserves her own spotlight for what she accomplished outside of the faction. Now, WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle is adding his voice to the conversation. Speaking to Bill Apter of Sportskeeda, Angle didn't hold back. He said, and I quote, "She frontiered women's wrestling, and not just women, but women wrestling men too. She had a huge impact on the business. She was a part of the reason that the business skyrocketed," end quote. Chyna made history in the ring, as we know, smashed barriers by competing in men's divisions, winning the Intercontinental Championship, and being the original blueprint for what female dominance in WWE could look like. Tragically, she passed away in 2016, never getting to experience a Hall of Fame induction during her lifetime, whether solo or as part of the group. So, do you think it's time, Max?
Yeah, I really do. Listen, she had her issues. Don't get me wrong. I could sit here and go through the Hall of Fame list and list off a whole bunch of solo inductees that had their issues. But I think Chyna does deserve it. I mean, let's think about this. What did she accomplish in her career? She not only she not only was part of DX, arguably one of the biggest factions in all of wrestling history. She not only dominated in the women's division, holding multiple titles there, but she also held men's titles. She held her own against men in the ring. I think Chyna is, at the time, I didn't appreciate her nearly as much as I do now, but Chyna is very deserving of having her solo spot. She made the kind of impact on this business that deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame, and she has accolades to go with it. That's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. But yeah, I think put Chyna in there on a solo induction. I mean, if you got Coco Beware in there, why not, right?
And not only was she a part of DX, but she played the heater. She played the person that would stand in the way of whatever was coming at DX, and they didn't want any part of that. She was so strong she made DX look strong. She really did. And
while I agree with all that, there was one thing that she didn't stand in the way of, and that was Slaughter's spit as he was talking. They had masks for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
and I was gonna say, talking about being a heater, that's the vision of Triple H and Shawn Michaels. You know, that's their.
Well, and if I watched what Triple H said, I don't know if it was on his Hall of Fame speech or if it was something else, but he said somebody brought Joni Lauer to his attention, and once he saw her, he said, "I knew that we had to have her in the group. You know, we had to make her a part of DX somehow."
Yeah, and he mentioned it at the Hall of Fame too, about getting her into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and that was just how captivating Joni Lauer was, man.
Yeah.
But listen, let me go on record and say one thing.
Yeah,
I don't get Bray Wyatt as the headliner next year. I'm going to be very upset.
We
were supposed to get it last year. Yeah. They said, "Hey, this is what's going on. We're going to put it off," and then everybody has surprised Triple H. So no Bray Wyatt this year. Give me my Bray Wyatt induction, damn it!
It's time for that too. You know.
Yeah.
I'd say it's totally time for that too. But hopefully, I mean, if there's anything that we can do to even push China further into the Hall of Fame, we definitely need to do it. But
yeah, I think it's just like the Baseball Hall of Fame and like a lot of Hall of Fames. That is a touchy subject, man, because like as wrestling fans, we think probably 90% of every wrestler who's ever wrestled should be part of the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, but
there has to be some kind of boundary of how we input somebody into the Hall of Fame. I mean, no, I'm not saying China is not worthy by any means. She should have been in there years ago, probably 2017, the year after she passed. I could be wrong on that date, but
is when she passed.
You know, I think as long as they get in there. And as fans, I think we could appreciate when that time does come. I mean, we allowed Hulk Hogan into the fucking Hall of Fame. So we can allow anybody in there. Fuck Hulk Hogan.
And I am with that. DK. I'm ready for a Ramblers Hall of Fame too. We need to make our own Hall of Fame.
Our first inductee will be the steel chair we sent to Mrs. J-Bone to hit J-Bone.
Well, hold on. No, the first inductee would have to be Bubba.
I was gonna say that's what I was gonna say. Bubba would have to be inducted.
Bubba would have to
first
be
round
induction. Yeah,
I'd like to thank my.
Oh, you're not getting inducted, Grandpa.
No, not you. Sorry,
you get inducted as an active member. Is that how this works?
Yeah.
Just put me just you don't have to give me like an actual spot in the Hall of Fame. Just just put me in like the legacy wing.
Wait, hold on a second.
The legacy wing.
Rey Mysterio can still wrestle while being a Hall of Famer, but we can't get in the Ramblers Unleashed Hall of Fame while being on the show.
Are you Rey Mysterio, Max?
I have retired. This is it. This is my last show. I'm going into retirement. Now induct me, damn it.
That's not how this works.
All right, fucking don't. Why are you going to retire, Max? You're not retiring just to get into the Hall of Fame.
Put a mask on, and we'll think
about that, Grandpa?
El Maxio.
El Maxio Americano.
Magieso.
Yeah, right.
Maximus Magus. Oh.
No. Maximo.
Maximo
Magus. Yeah, absolutely.
There it is. Next week, he's going to have a lucha mask on.
El Grande.
Hold on. I got this for you. Give me a second. I like this game.
Oh my God! Hey, if you are new here, please consider hitting the subscribe button, hit that like button, and that tells YouTube that you are liking what we are doing, and that suggests our videos to more people. So smash that like and smash that subscribe button. We appreciate it. And Max, did you find it? You ready?
Soy la prima de Max Magus. Me llamo es Maximo Magus.
Ooh, okay.
You definitely need a mask for that one.
Did you guys understand what I said, though?
No.
Yeah, you said you like bananas. Can we keep this going?
Yeah. I said I am the cousin of Max Magus. My name is Maximo Magus.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the first ever roast of WrestleMania that went down in Las Vegas after night 2 of WrestleMania 41. And And it was exactly what fans expected. No filters, no rules, absolutely no chance of this thing ever seeing the light of day. Held inside the Fontainebleau's Blue Live Theater, the 2-hour spectacle was hosted by controversial comic Tony Hinchcliffe, who pulled 0 punches. The show was loaded with sharp jabs, sexual innuendos, raunchy jokes, and more F-bombs and a John Moxley promo, according to one source in the room. Paul Heyman, as expected, quote, stole the spotlight with a masterclass in mic work, end quote, torching anyone who crossed path with his verbal fire. Triple H closed the show with a surprise appearance, proving he can laugh at himself just as hard as he buries talent. And yes, Linda McMahon was in the building. The former WWE exec was seen in the audience, quote, stone-faced through some of the risque moments and giving off big disapproving mom energy while chaos unfolded around her. Now, some of the speakers included R-Truth, The Miz, Braun Strowman, Nia Jax, Sami Zayn, and Pat McAfee, who all took shots at each other, the business, and even the city of Las Vegas itself. It was a night that lived up to its what happens in Vegas vibe. But if you're looking to maybe watch the roast, not likely to happen. WWE has no plans to release the footage from the roast, and based on the content, they probably never will, which there's video floating around. Matter of fact, I tweeted out a piece of the footage.
There's little clips here and there.
Clip, just one small clip on our X account at the Ramblers Pod. You can go check it out. But it's Tony Hinchcliffe.
But still, I mean, like, you know where I am on things, and like some things you want to leave alone. But comedy is comedy, right? Roast is a roast. So I guess my question really is, like, why don't they? Why did they even do this if they don't want it shown, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I don't really get that. I mean, I would actually love to watch this. I think this would be great.
It goes along with the vibe of what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, I think, and it was kind of like one of those.
Vegas. Your affair doesn't stay in Vegas. Your 5 children you have while you're in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas. Nothing ever stays in Vegas. Okay, everything comes back and bites you later down the road.
That one section of your nether region that keeps itching. Because
there you go. Yeah. So but I wish they would have shown this because I would love to see it.
Yeah, the crabs don't stay in Vegas. They go with you.
They go with you. Yeah.
I don't know. I buried something in the desert and it stayed in Vegas.
Oh, my God.
Well, yeah, they built the whole fucking city underneath that desert.
Max, I know sometimes you don't see eye to eye, but shit, man, we need to talk. I'm going to hire your ass.
Let's talk Steve Austin. He showed up to WrestleMania 41 in full Texas rattlesnake mode, but things might have gotten a little too real. The Hall of Famer roared down to the ring at Allegiant Stadium on a 4-wheeler. Even before making it to the ring, he missed the ramp to the entrance walkway, and then he misjudged a turn and slammed into the ringside barricade, and the vehicle jolted into the crowd area, appearing to knock down a fan in the process. And Austin, who was just absolutely unfazed, jumped off the ATV, made his way to the ring like nothing happened. Once he got there, he addressed the live crowd of 63,226 fans, cracked a joke about the attendance too. But behind the scenes, the mood wasn't quite as lighthearted. According to Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer Radio, WWE officials are, quote, nervous about the incident. And Alvarez explained, and I quote, Austin sprinting down on this ATV or whatever, and he flies around the ring. He smashed into a barricade, and he knocks this woman back, and he jumps off and gets in the ring or whatever. Nick Khan flies over, and he's talking to this lady, and we'll see what happens, man, end quote. So far, no official statement has been released by WWE or by the fan, reportedly Impact during the moment, but the viral footage is everywhere, and speculation is starting to fly, and Baron, we were talking about this in the chat. You had like the keen eye to watch this lady because when Austin hit the barricade, the lady seemed to just stand there like, oh, hey, you're Steve Austin. But then she said, hey, you just hit the barricade and then flew back.
Yeah, I want to see. I know I sent this to you guys in the chat, or I might have tagged you on Twitter on this, but it was like the perfect, just meme and like this, like it was perfect. I need to find it real quick because it really is so good. Let's see here. Yes, because this was perfect. I'm pretty sure I tagged you in it on the Ramblers Unleashed with the caption. Let's see here.
Yeah.
And kids, this is why we don't drink and drive.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, clearly don't obviously drink and drive. But this is Stone Cold. This is what he does, right?
Yeah.
But this lady did not. And we talked about it the night it happened on our after show.
Let's see if I can pull this up
and
on the screen.
It just she clearly was trying to milk it, right?
Yeah, definitely was trying. Well, see, I don't know, man. I mean, I think she was. I personally, yeah, I think that she, because I watched it over and over and over again, and if you go back and you watch the clip, which the clip is up on our X account at the Ramblers Pod, what happened is when he came around the second time, he hit the barricade. The fan stood there and said, "Oh, maybe I should react." And then she fell back.
Yeah, there was a good few seconds after he hit.
There was a second.
She fell back.
Yeah,
I mean like if he hit that with a lot of momentum, that barricade would have pushed back into her.
Well, and it did. The barricade did kind of push back.
It moved like a few inches.
It moved a few inches, but not enough to knock her down forcefully like she went.
Right.
You know, but they still have to take that very seriously because you know it's on them. So yeah. She fell back 3 to 5 business days.
Literally.
Oh,
well, like Stone Cold said in that, or that person said in that, she was selling like she was taking a bump like the 98, in the Garden.
Well,
Madison Square Garden.
That's not the only incident that occurred at Mania. And the next one that we've got for you, and we actually have video of it, Dominik Mysterio apparently had a pretty major moment at WrestleMania 41 as he ended up winning the Intercontinental Championship. However, things took a turn after the show when he was involved in an accident that may have led to a fan being injured, as revealed by footage circulating online. And we're going to show that footage here in just a moment. Dominik was riding in a utility vehicle, likely heading to join Joe Tessitore, Big E, and Peter Rosenberg for the post-show coverage outside of Allegiant Stadium when the vehicle accidentally hit a woman who was trying to take a photo with the new champ. However, it's still unclear how badly the fan was hurt. People nearby reacted with concern right away, though. While Dominik Mysterio wasn't the one driving, the incident has led to mixed reactions from fans online. And Dominik Mysterio's win was a major milestone in his rising career, but the accident that followed has created some concerns among fans about safety and crowd control at big events like WrestleMania. Hopefully, the woman involved is doing okay, of course, and WWE takes action to make sure that the fans stay safe at future shows. Now, Max, you've been involved in a number of different wrestling promotions, a number of different shows. What is your take on this while we pull up the video?
Listen, you have got to be careful of everything you do as a wrestler. Now, if the fan jumps the barricade and gets in the ring, that's on them. But if you run into them, as we're going to see in the video, that's on you. And you will probably face some kind of repercussions. We actually had a moment at a show where a wrestler smacked a ladder, it bounced off the ring and then bounced over into the audience and actually connected with a fan. We had the company that I was working for at the time had to deal with a lawsuit over that. You have to be careful what you're doing if there's fans nearby at all times.
And this is courtesy of ringsidenews.com, but you can see that the fan was
come on, dude.
Listen,
no, you simply can't fucking. Who is backing that female or that person that got hit?
Well, if you watch it again,
She threw herself at it.
Here's the female's right here. And she goes down as the cart is going, but it kind of looks like she almost got ran over. Honestly,
good.
You can see her lean into the path of it, though.
Well, yeah, exactly.
There's video for his defense there.
I would understand if this was a tiny mini cart you couldn't see coming, but this is a fucking limo golf cart coming your direction, flashing lights, a light on it. I don't have any sympathy. Anybody backing this person up during this period of time just needs to. Exactly. Styles. It's probably the same fucking woman.
This is an insurance scam. She faked getting hit so that she could get a payout.
Yeah, and you guys know I will back up any human being in the world when something is wrong, right? We know that. I'm not picking on anybody here, but this is clear as day. This person's fault here. Well, she ran up into it, got hit by it. Good, probably got her foot ran over, whatever the case may be. But this is not any wrestler nor staff members' fault in this video.
The frame looks like it clocked her between the head and a whole section of her body.
Well, she was trying to get a fucking selfie.
Right. She was, or just trying to get a picture of it, and obviously didn't get out of the way in time. So it's next level stupidity. And thank you for sharing, because it makes me giggle looking at stupid people.
But the thing is, if this does escalate, and
she got creamed.
She got smashed like Sammy Guevara got smashed.
What I'm seeing as you go back and forth is, if you watch, it looks like she reaches out and grabs it.
Yeah,
and then lets go, and that's when she falls back.
I wonder if she was trying to grab it to get control of her body or what.
She could have, absolutely. She might have ran too fast and kind of stumbled and tried to catch herself, and that naturally just got ran over by that. So that could have. But also, as you can see, when this vehicle, I should have been an attorney, a lawyer at some point in my life, because I've done really well with myself. But nonetheless, as you can see, while this vehicle is entered, everyone is moving to the side, out of the way, right?
Yeah, everyone's staying back, and
everybody's making path for this vehicle,
even these
as
guys
normal humans would do during this circumstance.
Sure,
but you always get one individual that wants that selfie so bad and got creamed, and probably is trying to shoot some lawsuits out. And you know what? She's probably going to get paid over this regardless.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that if this does go to court and they show this video, because the WWE has high-priced attorneys and they know what they're doing, they're going to pick apart this photo, this video.
Or they might just say, "Here, let's give you $5,000 for damage liability or whatever the case may be, and go fuck off."
And if Dominik Mysterio shows up in court for this, he should wear a neck brace and be like, "Yeah, man, that
poor." I could just imagine the fans are butchering Dom, and he's in the second, third row back here with his belt going for an interview. He has He has nothing to do with this.
So he's even high-fiving fans. He's holding up his title saying, "I'm the IC champ." This is right after he cut his promo post-Mania. Mm-hmm. And so the lady is like, I clearly didn't drink enough for this, but look what I can do.
I honestly think she did get run over by this cart, because if you watch, we go back and go forth. So the cart to me looks even until they get to her. And then when she goes down, it looks like the cart took a little bit of a bump. Now, I don't know if that bump is because she grabbed onto the cart and shook it when she fell, but to me, it kind of looks like she almost got ran over or did get run over. It's a bad angle, but
it could have been as close as she was, because she was connected. She connected with it. It could have run over her foot. That's about the extent of it.
Yeah,
considering where the tire is and her body was.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Two things I want to point out. Number one, as Dizzy's sitting here taking it back and forth, all I can hear in my head is Dizzy's voice going, She's up, she's down. She's up, she's down.
Yeah.
Secondly, the headline on this article was very misleading because the headline made it sound like Dom was actually driving the go-kart.
Yeah.
And like Baron pointed out, he's not. He's actually in the back of this thing. So whoever wrote the headline kind of did it in a sketchy way. Did you get this from Sportskeeda?
No. No, I did not. No. But thank you to ringsidenews.com for letting us use that video and show exactly what happened on that night, because it is kind of a serious matter. It's kind of a stupid matter. Who the fuck would do that? I don't know why people are. I don't know what drives people to do that shit. But
I know people like that. I can't say what they've done, but I know there's people like that out there that will go out of their way to draw attention to themselves, to hurt themselves, to get attention.
Yeah.
Look what I can do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's point out one of the biggest elephants in the room.
Rusev?
That was Lex Luger.
Oh.
He was officially inducted into the Hall of Fame, class of 2025, Friday night. But fans were quick to notice that his absence during WrestleMania 41 Saturday festivities inside the stadium. While speaking with Ariel Helwani on the Ariel Helwani show, Luger came onto the show and explained why he wasn't able to appear alongside the other inductees at WrestleMania. He says, and I quote, "It's wild how that stuff catches fire with all that happened. Next day on Saturday, I could barely get out of bed. I called the guys and they were cool about it. They said, well, look, we'd love to have you down there. Let's see how you feel later in the day. But it was obvious by later in the afternoon I wasn't going to be able to get out there." End quote. Diamond Dallas Page, who delivered the induction speech for Luger, also clarified that Lex had every intention of showing up. He mentioned that if he had been, that it had been a long night for him and the time zone change from the East Coast to Las Vegas didn't help at all. And, honestly, we've all been there, which, I mean, for Luger, that's completely understandable. That time zone change is a bitch, and hopefully Lex got some rest, but it still would have been nice to see Lex there on the stage with the rest of the inductees at Mania
Yeah.
And I know Austin Hollis, we were talking in the Facebook chat, and he said, dude, I'm here because of Lex Luger, and I said, well, where the fuck is Lex?
I would have been too, man. I would have been too.
Absolutely. Another big moment in WrestleMania was when we were all shocked when Joe Hendry appeared as Randy Orton's surprise opponent, and Orton made short work of him. With that said, the reason behind Joe Hendry being picked for the spot has been revealed, guys. And according to Corey Hayes of PWN, several names were suggested for Randy Orton's open challenge at WrestleMania, but Orton personally chose Joe Hendry because he's a fan of Hendry and his work. As reported earlier, WWE had been already planning for Joe Hendry's surprise appearance at WrestleMania even before Kevin Owens announced his neck injury. But the decision was already in motion, and many within TNA didn't find out for sure until Saturday, just hours before the match. Hendry's name was not listed on WWE's internal production sheets, helping keep the secret a surprise.
Nice.
And even though Hendry is still under contract with TNA, it's been confirmed that his deal will expire sometime within the next 12 months as he now, as a free agent in the WWE, has shown ongoing interest in Joe Hendry. And they reportedly brought him in for various appearances and matches in the past, too. So this is very promising for Joe Hendry. Now, I know a lot of people were mad about Joe Hendry being there. A lot of people were like, oh, really? Joe Hendry, blah, 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 blah. But this is not only good for the WWE, but this is also really, really good for TNA.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have to go. I missed a lot of day two because of because of Easter, my kids were over, so I was just trying to be a good dad. And I love you kids. No, really, I do, but I'm missing Mania. No, I'm kidding.
No.
No, you're not.
But Mania is on.
But yeah. Be like, all right, I'll see you guys next time. But no, I did hear about it. I don't remember exactly how it went, but Tracy told me I was doing something. Maybe I was like falling asleep after the kids left or something. I don't know.
That's not surprising.
That's not J-Bone.
No,
I think that was somebody else. There's no way.
I woke up for the main event. No, but no, I'm happy for him. It's like, there's what shit. There's good. Why wasn't it Luger? Yeah, come on, get Luger down there for Randy. I mean, come on. There's gonna be people out there that you're just never gonna make happy, and they're gonna. And well, we all had picks. We all had picks that we were like, yeah, okay, maybe Rusev, maybe this guy, maybe Al back in the day. I can picture him.
Coco Beware.
No, not Coco Beware, but it came from the same time. He had like a nasty shirt with holes in it. Had
Brooklyn Brawler?
Yeah, Brooklyn Brawler. Why couldn't it be the Brooklyn Brawler? Yeah.
Holes in his shirt. You mean the guy from Revenge of the Nerds? The shirt said "Who farted"?
yeah, Booger. Yeah, why couldn't
that's
it
his
been
name.
Booger?
Booger
Great fucking movie. Great movie.
Wow.
One of my favorite...
It's like God, this you gotta go with what is viral, popular. Look, and I don't get all the tic tac stuff that happened because I've just I don't indulge in the tic tacs a lot. I did a little bit recently, but
TikTok. TikTok, old man, TikTok.
Well, that's what a clock makes. What the hell does that have to do with Hendry? Anyways. Look, I'm happy for Hendry. It's
Boomer.
my favorite meme to come out of the whole thing. Somebody tweeted, "We wanted Rusev and we got his lawyer."
Yeah, I seen that. That was funny. That was good.
And listen, I was happy that it was Hendry. Don't get me wrong, but that was hilarious.
Yeah. Say it when he appears.
But you made a good point about the viral moments that we're looking for in wrestling. I appreciate those factors a lot. But Karrion Kross made a phenomenal point on the factor.
Let's get into that, man.
Go ahead and go ahead, Dizzy. Break it down.
Karrion Kross chose violence after cutting a very fiery promo on WrestleMania recap show, clearly frustrated over being left off the WrestleMania 41 card. The intense promo quickly got fans talking, leading to speculation about how WWE viewed his outburst. And now WWE's internal reaction to the promo has been revealed, Baron. While speaking on the post-Raw show, Sean Ross Sapp was asked about WWE's reaction to Karrion Kross's explosive promo on the post-WrestleMania show. And he explained that what aired was a mix of reality and storyline. Sapp did note that the company was not upset about it. In fact, it was clearly edited and intentionally included in the broadcast. The production team even did a transition to it, meaning that it was approved. Kross also brought up his contract information leaking to the dirt sheets, which actually added to the nature of the segment. So during the YouTube post-show, Karrion Kross grabbed the microphone to cut an intense promo, and he was upset that WWE chose to focus on influencers instead of wrestlers who worked hard their whole lives. Kross mentioned Joe Hendry's appearance at WrestleMania with Randy Orton and said he didn't ask to wrestle Randy and wasn't mad at Joe. Kross did call out AJ Styles for not using the brass knuckles he tried to hand him, calling AJ a narcissist. And by the way, I see a match between Kross and Styles soon. But he called out WWE management too, directly saying, and I quote, "To the guy in the truck wearing a suit and tie, go fuck yourself. That's from Killer Kross." Now, while controversial, this promo has brought new attention to Karrion Kross. showing that real emotion and unpredictability can still make a pretty big impact in WWE as Cross blurs a line of storyline and real life. Fans are definitely interested in seeing whether Cross was finally going to get a push that many feels that he deserves. And I saw it today. I was at lunch and I was watching this promo, and the girl came up to me and handed me my lunch and said, "Hang on, just 1 second. Holy shit, this is crazy. This is insane." Max, did you see the promo?
Oh, yes, I did. I loved it. I am looking forward to what this leads to. And I'm going to be honest with you. This may have been one of the best promos that I've seen cut in a while.
Yeah.
The Killer Cross thing is going to be fire. Listen, there was a rule that if Vince didn't want it on TV, it didn't make it on TV. This is something that's carried over even in the Triple H era, and other companies do it as well. They wouldn't have aired that way. They wouldn't have let us see it if they didn't want us to. There's a reason they did it. Have patience, young Padawan.
Exactly.
I got a feeling this is going to kind of slowly turn into. See, if you know Cross like I do, and you've been kind of studying him, and you know what his influences are, and who he kind of bases some of his promo stylings after, and what content he he'll take something from back then and tweak it and make it modern to what's going on, on TV. A lot of his stuff sometimes has to do with the attitude of the late great Sean O'Hare. And man, I love it when Cross starts going off and he just starts, oh man, there's something about him, and I know something great is going to happen with Cross this year post Mania. I don't know what, but I'm like, damn, it's long overdue, and they just gotta let it happen, and just let him loose on the mic. The guy is so talented. If you followed him through Lucha Underground, to past TNA, other things that he's been involved with, man, the guy is gold on the mic. Just let him go.
Oh yeah, that was Aaron. You saw it, right? What were your thoughts?
That was great, and I agree with everything he said. So why? My thing is why is it after the fact? Why didn't we have this during the fact? Sorry, TNI fans out there, I would have preferred Karrion Kross, an active member of the roster, going up against Randy Orton than the viral moment of Joe Hendry. You guys know my opinion on him. I think he's a shock. I mean, like, he is exactly what Karrion Kross has said. He is, a viral moment at best. I don't think if we're gonna sit here and trash John Cena about his wrestling abilities, I would like to sit here and have a conversation about Joe Hendry's wrestling abilities. But we don't ever do that because he has a viral moment of, a couple catchy phrases. But nonetheless, I think, Karrion Kross, I think he's going to progress into something massively big, which is great. And that promo started that right there. That's going to help elevate him to a different level. He created his own viral moment. And now it's time for him to surge up a little bit. So yeah.
The group thing with him obviously didn't work, unfortunately. And I don't know exactly what happened with Ellering and AOP. Obviously this is time number 2 for those guys. But obviously there's a reason they kept Cross and Scarlett. So that's a positive right there. So we just got to be patient.
That's a good looking 2 people right there. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, he looks like a phenomenal wrestler. Like, and he has great valet. She's eye candy. She's catchy. She's mysterious, and he's that badass guy. They just need to go and capture that. I think him going against Randy Orton could have helped elevate him even more so than that promo. So
Yeah, but
he's got to take out AJ Styles first.
And before we jump into AEW news, I do want to point out that if you've paid attention to how they've been bringing Karrion Kross on TV, it's all been pretty much backstage segments, and he's trying to get with the guy likes of AJ Styles and all the people that he's trying that have been trying to get on the bandwagon with him. He's been trying to get on his bandwagon, whatever the case may be. This is all led up. This is the thing that WWE is doing. They're dropping these subtle little hints about what we need to really pay attention to with the backstage segments, with the matches, with the promos and things like that. This is what led to this blow up from Karrion Kross. All the backstage stuff, all the matches, the thing on WrestleMania when he gave the brass knucks to AJ Styles. This is all part of the story. And that's the beautiful story writing on WWE's part. And I for one am here for it. I want to see what Karrion Kross has. I want to see him in a storyline, like a real, honest to God storyline against whoever. I don't care. Put him against a fucking broomstick. The guy is just so good. I was captivated by his promo. Let's move on to some AEW news. And Baron, it's time for your buzzkill moment.
I haven't killed the buzz enough today. You want more? All
right. Baby, we want more. And this one is kind of interesting. So Tiffany Stratton, of course, we all know, isn't afraid to shoot her shot, and she's got her sight sets on, Baron, Mercedes Moné. The current WWE Women's Champion sat down with the gorilla position and opened up about a dream opponent she hopes returns to WWE sooner rather than later. When asked if she'd like to see Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks, back in the fold, Stratton didn't hesitate to say this, and I quote, "I hope so. I think it would be super cool if she came back. I would love to get in the ring with her," end quote. Now, we know Moné walked out of WWE May 2022 alongside Naomi following reported creative frustrations with how the women's tag team champions were being booked. The move shocked the locker room and the fan base while Naomi eventually came back to WWE during the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble match. Sasha never looked back. Matter of fact, she's at Mercedes Moné now in AEW Women's Division. So, Baron, do you agree with Tiffy time? Do you think Mercedes Moné needs to come back to the WWE?
It's not Mercedes time, not at all. I don't care to ever see that in my lifetime. I think we're already having enough oversaturation of wrestlers on the WWE roster. We're not even just talking about the women's division. We're talking about just the overall scheme of things. I know everybody wants to always see people come right back to WWE, and that's it's cool. It's great for the shock factor. You know what I'm saying? But what happens after the fact? I don't see anything happening with. I'm just going to call her Sasha Banks because that's what she is to me. I won't recognize the other name she's going for with whatever company that is we're talking about here. But I just don't. I don't think there's any need for it. I don't think it would benefit the company at all. We might get a really cool pop for the first go around, maybe the first couple times. But outside of that, I think we'll be back in square root one like we'll be with Becky Lynch.
Max, I know this is Baron's buzzkill moment, but Max, you've been sold on Tiffany Stratton too, and I'm kind of interested in your thoughts on this. And I know that you are very anti the woman that shall not be named.
100% anti. I don't think she deserves 4 belts either. I'm a huge fan of Tiffany. And listen, she has the right to say who she wants to face, even if that is she who shall not be named. I think it's a mistake. I don't think that she's going to have any fun with that match if it happens, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. I still support Tiffy. I still think it's Tiffy time, but it will never be she who shall not be named time again.
Well, yeah. You're talking about 4 belts. What if she's just having trouble holding up her pants?
Well,
in this sport, everyone's fighting for a belt, even though they're not wearing pants to hold up with that belt.
Mir makes a really good point. I would rather see Mariah May and Tiffany Stratton than Bayley's BFF. That would be so good. And Mariah May, we all know, we talked about it on the show, that she is looking like she's WWE bound. Boy, wouldn't that be awesome if Mariah May and Tiffany Stratton had a match? My God, that would be so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think forecasting. I think we could see Bayley leaving WWE very, very soon.
I think so.
I think that's going to be a possibility, and that's something like that is pretty serious for WWE because she is fantastic on that roster. Mm-hmm. She always has been, always will be. No matter where she goes, she'll do great. But I think with this latest thing that happened recently, I think that might have really pissed her off.
So,
and her contract's ending too.
Make light on that. What's going on with Bayley? Because I know a lot of our fans are asking about that.
Well, I mean, there's a good chance that she could be leaving. Her contract's ending very soon, I want to say, and I would imagine she would be trying to leave too. I mean, like, you get pulled. You can't deny this. When you get pulled from WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. From a match at WrestleMania, that puts a pretty nasty taste in your mouth. Ask CM Punk, ask a lot of these people that transitioned over to other companies over time. I mean, like it's a smack in the face. That's the biggest show that's the biggest payday you're ever going to get in wrestling, right?
Yeah. Everybody wants their WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
Just for the record, she was on Chris Van Vliet and said that she's got another year and a half on this contract.
So they could do something. They could still do something with Bayley.
But what would that case be? She just got pulled out of women's tag team title match to put Becky Lynch in her place.
Well, maybe
then drop the title the next night. That's even bigger smack in the face.
Well, I mean, okay, so I just found this story. While speaking to Chris Van Vliet, Bayley talked about feeling like she's not getting the focus that she wants. She's not featured in press conferences, posters, or talk shows, and she doesn't know what else she can do to get noticed more. She said there's no drama or problems backstage since she has a good relationship with Triple H, Bruce Pritchard, and the talent team. She's always been respectful and professional, even when going to other wrestling shows to support her friends. They've talked about what's okay and what's not, and she feels like there's mutual respect. Triple H has even praised her in press conferences, calling her the kind of superstar WWE wants, which she's grateful for it, but also makes her wonder what more she needs to do. And when asked if she takes it personally, like being told she's going to win the Royal Rumble, doing all the celebration stuff, then feeling stuck afterwards, she admitted it's hard. She thinks one reason that she hasn't moved up more is that she doesn't walk in and demand things. And with that being said, with all of this is still a business. And the idea is this business needs to make money. And how are they going to make money? They're going to make money on names. Is Bayley a name? I'm not downgrading Bayley, but is she a name that would draw somebody to the website to go pick a ticket up? That's my thing. What's going to make money? Not how can they put her in a creative story, not how can they put her against somebody. I'm not saying that a story would sell a ticket, but Bayley needs to understand that at the end of the day, this is still a business. They're trying to make money, and that everything may not go into her in her direction, But with her saying that she doesn't walk in and demand enough attention, that could be another thing that they're not listening to her either. Look at what Hogan did. Hogan walked in and he demanded attention. That's why he got all the contracts that he did. Maybe Bayley needs to take notes on what Hogan did.
Well, I know she was, injured and she was gone for a long time, and now she's injured again, apparently. I don't know if it's real or not, but it seems like
I really do think that injury was kayfabe.
I don't know. They said she tweaked her shoulder or partial dislocation or something. They said something last night on Raw, but it could have been just to make room for Becky because Becky said last minute, and like there is something special about that group of girls that came out of NXT, 10 years ago or
And
10 plus.
I would have rather had seen Bayley over Becky fucking Lynch. I can't stand her.
Yeah, I mean love them or hate them. There's still something special about. I know there's just people don't like the artist formerly known as Sasha Banks on this show, but she also came from that group. Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and I think you could also throw like Alexa Bliss in that same. I think because I was pretty close to that same amount of time.
Yeah, it's very, very similar time.
Also Paige, So yeah, there's a certain group that came out in the early 2010s that are very special to wrestling, and no matter what they're doing, they're going to be considered a draw by a certain group of people. So
yeah.
And I don't want to sway too much away from what we're talking about now, but Bayley's an interesting story, and we're going to keep an eye on that. Let's steer back into AEW news, and apparently they just pulled a plug on an upcoming episode of Collision, and fans in Wichita are left without answers. So the May 17th episode of Collision, originally scheduled for the Intrust Bank Arena in Wichita, Kansas, has apparently been canceled, and AEW didn't provide a reason for the decision, but confirmed the episode will now be taped following Dynamite Beach Break on May 14th at the Now Arena in Hoffman Estates, Illinois. And fans holding tickets in the Wichita show can get refunds at their point of purchase. That's not the only shakeup, though. AEW has a major change to Ring of Honor's event calendar, and the ROH Supercard of Honor pay-per-view, which was originally set for May 2nd in Atlantic City, New Jersey, has now been rescheduled for July 11th at the Esports Stadium in Arlington, Texas. The new date is part of All In Texas Week, and on top of that, ROH Death Before Dishonor has also moved. The event will now take place at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia on Friday, September 15th. Now, AEW really hasn't explained the rescheduling decisions, and no replacements have been announced for the Atlantic City crowd. But refunds, again, are available for both the canceled Collision in Wichita and the rescheduled Supercard of Honor in Atlantic City. No explanation, no warning, just major changes for fans who already made plans. And, AEW kind of needs to be more transparent about these cancellations. I bought a ticket expecting to see an AEW show to find out that they turned around and canceled it. I would be kind of furious and probably never buy another ticket again. Baron, you and I have gone to a number of different concerts, and if those concerts were canceled, the ones that we've been looking forward to, the ones we bought tickets for, we'd be kind of pissed off, right?
Oh, I'd be furious. I will tell you a story of, oh my God. Who sings Sex on Fire? I forgot already.
Oh, Muse?
No, Kings of Leon.
Kings of Leon, yeah.
Nothing's worse than actually going to the concert and being at the concert and then canceling while being at the concert. They had a concert, and I know I'm going off the rails, but I have to just say it now because I've already started it. But they had a concert at our venue that we go to in the St. Louis region. Dizzy will know. And a flock of birds came and shit on them while having the concert, and mid-set, not even one or two songs in, they canceled. We didn't get a refund on any of that. And the St. Louis community of individuals that were at that event raised hell.
Oh yeah.
And we got our refund back. So I can only imagine. Yeah, I just had to bring it up because it was a funny fact, because that was a clusterfuck of a mess, by the way, getting that back from Ticketmaster. But I would be furious after purchasing tickets and it getting canceled.
No.
And this AEW, I feel like in the last couple months, we talked about them doing this multiple times.
Yeah. And, you know, this even goes back to, and Baron will know what I'm talking about here, Guns N' Roses in St. Louis. The first time that they were in St. Louis, when that happened, you know, it's just shit like this that makes people not want to go back to a show. Max, again, I'm going to ask you this question, and then we need to move on. But you have been involved with many promotions. You've been in the business for a long time. Have you ever rescheduled or canceled an event without warning? Ever?
We had a point at one of the companies I worked for where we canceled 3 shows in a row.
For what reason?
I don't remember why the promoter canceled them. I was doing website stuff at the time, but I was submitting the website stuff. Somebody else was uploading it. And I want to say he said there wasn't enough interest. We didn't sell enough tickets to actually do the show, I think is what he told us when he called. But as far as I know, we did put on the website, hey, we're not going to be doing this show. And that was like a week in advance or so. But it does happen. It's not a good thing to do, where you end up having to cancel and it's too late. People are already headed to the venue or at the venue and you don't want to do it. But there was one company that should have canceled. They still put on a show even though the ring didn't show up, and that was probably a bad idea on their part.
Yeah, I mean, what it's 25-ish days until the supposed collision was set to take place in Wichita, which, I mean, okay.
And I wanted to comment on this anyway because we're talking about the same company that had a pay-per-view scheduled on the same night as an NBA tournament. And in Australia, they were in Australia for that show, and they changed it over to a collision without really changing their ticket prices, because pay-per-view ticket prices are higher.
Yes.
And that led to a lot of fan outrage.
Yeah, and I think what Bell's Boy said in the chat says it all. It's because what happened with your promotion is that there was no interest in the show, you know. And we've talked about this. We've talked about the lack of interest of AEW as they continue to struggle to fill arenas. And we've also talked about the viewership problems that the company has seen. And on the April 17th episode of Collision, one of the most standout moments was Trent Beretta finally making a shocking return after injury and aligning himself with the Don Callis family. But we do have the viewership numbers for that show. And according to Programming Insider, AEW Collision drew 353,000 viewers on TNT. That's down from last week's 455,000. In the 18 to 49 demographic, the show scored a 0.08 rating. Also a drop from the previous week's 0.12. The figures only reflect, as we've always said, TNT's television broadcast numbers. They do not include HBO Max streaming viewership, which remains unreported. Now, along with the return of Trent Beretta, Nick Wayne also won the ROH Television Championship after beating Commander for the title. So, with this, you know, we never get the numbers from Max. We never get those numbers, which annoys me, not you, Max. Which
I was going to say, I always try to give you the numbers when you ask for them.
Yeah,
Sorry.
But Warner Brothers Discovery is not telling us the numbers from Max, and it's like, okay, why are you pulling the veil over our eyes when we know the veil is already over our eyes? You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know, but that's the problem with this company. Here's another problem with the company. AEW recently celebrated a major milestone, but the claim that of the whole Turner Wrestling claim, the AEW's longest running Turner Wrestling claim for WCW, that claim is now the longest running primetime wrestling show in Turner sports history. Doesn't exactly hold up under the microscope from what AEW is saying. And our friends at ringsidenews.com did some digging, and here's what they found, okay?
Ooh.
Now, stay with me on this. AEW Dynamite Spring Breakthrough marks episode 289, surpassing WCW Monday Nitro's total of 286 episodes before it ended on March 26, 2001. The company is promoting the achievement as a Turner record. But there's one problem. WCW Saturday Night aired 785 episodes on TBS from April 4th, 1992 to August 19th, 2000, nearly triple the amount of Dynamite episodes. And yes, WCW Saturday Night did air in prime time, specifically the iconic 6:05 p.m. Eastern time slot on Saturday evenings, which became a signature viewing window for wrestling fans through the early 90s. That time slot was considered prime time for cable, especially during the show's peak. Even before it was rebranded as WCW Saturday Night, the program aired on TBS under earlier names like Georgia Championship Wrestling and NWA World Championship Wrestling, keeping a consistent spot in Turner's weekly lineup dating back to the early 80s. The confusion seems to come from Nitro being the flagship Monday night show, but in terms of weekly primetime wrestling on Turner, Saturday Night still holds that title. While its prominence declined in the late 90s, often moving out of the primetime slot and being used for mid-card matches and developmental talent, it maintained a regular presence on TBS through the entire decade. And AEW recently celebrated their 289th episode from the MGM Music Hall in Boston. Now, even though the numbers might make AEW Dynamite's biggest TV success to date, Turner Sports Wrestling history goes way deeper than Nitro. And any talk of longest running has to include WCW Saturday Night's 785 episode run. So AEW, stop. You're not going. I don't know why they want to compare themselves to other brands that they're not even running anymore. What are we trying to do?
It's a goal. It's a goal for longevity. I understand it. Like, hey, these guys only made it so long. It's I mean, you're never gonna catch the the king, WWE. You're never gonna catch them. But to set goals to be like, all right, so Smoky Mountain lasted this long, Florida Championship Wrestling lasted this long. WCW X amount of episodes from this showing of this this airing of this show or this show over here. It's all just, hey, we made it this far, and it's I'm not gonna knock him for that. It's like, hey, look how far we made it.
To me,
TNA over the years did that too. It'd be like, hey, look how far we've come.
Well, to me though, maybe it's just because Tony Khan. I don't know, but to me, it seems like it's a stroke of ego, Baron. That Tony Khan's like, well, we're on the same network that a very other popular promotion was on, and we're just going to set the bar higher than what they did. But they were able to consistently draw crowds. They were able to consistently get good numbers, even though I know cord cutting wasn't a thing back then. But they were consistent on good numbers. They were consistent on sometimes good storylines, better than what we saw in AEW. But they were going up against WWF, and they were dominating WWF back in the day. And
at certain times, yeah.
It's a very short period of time. We keep thinking it's a long time, but it was a very short period of time that they dominated them. However, I think is that reflection back on the Tony Khan, or is that a reflection back onto the executives of that network? They remember wrestling during that period of time, so they set their expectations high. Maybe that could be something along those lines.
I think what it also is it's a little pointing the finger and or depending on what finger you want to use at the haters, like
Hey,
hey, look how far we've come, and screw everyone else that doesn't think we can make it, because guess what, we've made it this far. I think it's a combination of things.
But Max, you were watching WCW Saturday night, and I watched WCW Saturday night. I watched Thunder. I watched Nitro, of course. I don't know. It's just something to me. It's like, why even try to surpass or try to bring up the fact that you're going to surpass WCW?
Because you're Tony Khan and you have an ego.
Well, that's it. That's the only thing that I can think of, is that it's an ego trip. They're trying to stroke the ego of Tony Khan.
He wants to be better than everybody else, but he's making all the mistakes that everybody else made. If you want to be better than them, learn from their mistakes and don't make them.
Yeah.
That's a very important part of this equation. You should really consider that and go do what you need to do to make it right.
Yeah.
Got to learn from history if you're going to try to keep the longevity going.
Well, right. Yeah. And I don't know. I just have a problem with it. And maybe it's because of who's running, who's ahead of the company and of AEW. And I don't know. I have a problem with it. But let's move on to some brighter news and happier news. And let's talk some TNA. Chris Bay, this is so good. He just delivered one of the most powerful moments in TNA Impact history. Returning to the ring 172 days after breaking his neck and being told he might never walk again. Bay made his way to the ring to a roaring ovation, escorted by his tag team partner and real-life brother-in-arms, Ace Austin. He says, quote, "When you're going through what I've gone through and what I've been through, you need a real brother." And this man is exactly that. Of course, talking about Austin, end quote. This marked Bay's first appearance since suffering a devastating neck injury that left him temporarily paralyzed. As he stood tall in the ring, he recalled what doctors told him after surgery. There was no guarantee he'd ever walk again, but tonight he walked under his own power, smiling upright and proud. He said, quote, "I said this would be the greatest story ever told, but deep down, I didn't know if I'd be standing here again." And that was a hell of a moment to see, because, look, we're all wrestling fans. We know that situations come about where these guys can get injured, and these guys can get injured in the most brutal way, as to maybe never walking again. The torment and hell that they put their bodies through for our entertainment is something that we can never get. We can't give that gratitude back to them besides buying a ticket to go watch them and support them. But for Chris Bay to be able to come back on TV and walk under his own fruition on his own power is just marvelous to see, And I'm curious, J-Bone, you caught that. Did you catch that moment? And if you do, you're muted, by the way.
My apologies. My cat was screaming, and so I was distracted by that. And I also just got a notification on my phone, so I'm sorry I didn't hear the last little bit you said. My apologies. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to point out the achievement that YouTube just sent us.
Yeah.
It says people are getting hooked on your channel. Congrats on reaching 3,000 hours of watch time. Keep giving them what they want. So thank you, YouTube, and thank you to all of you.
Yeah, and I think that deserves a round of applause.
Thank you, fans.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, please, you're too kind. No, but Javon, that was a hell of a moment to see Chris Bay be able to walk out to the ring.
Oh yes, yeah, that was during Unbreakable. The Mania week. There's been so much stuff going on. It's all kind of like rolled together in one big blur.
But that might be the comeback of the year for TNA. Honestly,
it is great to see him come out. It's and wrestling fans got to be patient. It's hard. Wrestling fans are never patient. We know that. We all want stuff 5 minutes ago. But yeah, to see him walk out on stage and share a moment with his a tag team partner and show his progress, and it's inspiring. It really is. It's like, damn, I got little aches and pains and stuff, but look at this guy, man. He was told he was never going to walk again. He was paralyzed from the neck down, and he's walking again. So it's the big man upstairs is looking out for him. So so very happy for Chris Bay, and we hope and pray that his progress continues. And look, even if he never steps in the ring again to wrestle, just stay healthy. It's we got to be realistic for these things. But I mean, he is gonna try. I know he's gonna try.
And props to Chris Bay for being able to walk out there, and I'm happy that he's back. And honestly, that could be like the comeback of the year for TNA, and it's a pretty high moment for the company. But here is where we talk about the low moment for the company. And
no, there's no low for TNA.
Hold on. TNA's wrestling decision to bring back Tessa Blanchard continues to blow up in their face, and this time in front of a live audience. They were not having it. During the mixed tag match at Unbreakable in Las Vegas, the crowd made their feelings very crystal clear as Blanchard teamed up with Frankie Kazarian to take on Joe Hendry and Masha Slamovich. Fans erupted with chants of "fuck you, Tessa," which escalated to "she's a racist" and racist as the match went on. The chants were not subtle, and they didn't let up, highlighting the unresolved tension surrounding Blanchard's 2020 controversy when she was accused of bullying and using a racial slur against a wrestler, La Rosa Negra. Despite widespread backlash, Blanchard has never really publicly apologized or made amends. In fact, that continues to haunt her at every single appearance. Now, Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp confirmed a while back that TNA has no intention of addressing the controversy and that media members have been shut down when trying to ask about it. Quote, they've been told, well, she's addressed it 5 years ago in a media call. She denied it, end quote. But fans clearly aren't buying the denial or TNA's silence. Whether TNA wants to address it or not, the crowd reaction proves one thing. The issue is not going away. And if TNA and Blanchard think they can move forward without confronting the past, they're already being proven wrong loudly and publicly. And the fans know what's up. They're not dumb, right? And we've talked about this on the show, and we hoped that it would just go away and let Tessa have a career. But fans are not having any part of Tessa Blanchard back in TNA, Max, at all.
No, they're not. And, I mean, to be fair, why should they? We've talked about this before.
Yep.
And I have stated that if TNA thinks that she deserves redemption and the locker room thinks she deserves redemption, then I'm all for it. But the fans are going to speak their mind. They're fickle, and I'm getting tired of them always being negative about everything. But this is one of those subjects that I'm not getting involved in this, and I'm not going to tell the fans not to have an opinion on what they think of her, considering the things that she did. So you had to expect this was going to happen when you re-signed her. That's if you didn't plan for this, that's so.
And Bell's boy just said, she made amends 4 years ago to La Rosa Negra online, and this tells me that most wrestling fans are not that smart as they think they are. J-Bone, you reacted to that pretty highly, huh?
Yeah, and it's and not just online. They were like together. They took a picture together, meaning they talked together in person. And are we going to know exactly what was said? No. Do we have to know what was said? No. Some fans are just ignorant. Okay, we don't know exactly what was said to who. Fans love blowing stuff up. Okay, maybe Tessa at some point in her career had a bad attitude, and I get that. I can understand that, and I can understand why some women wrestlers and or fans would be upset about that. But a lot of people in the wrestling industry, as they're coming up, go through a phase where you think you're invincible and you can do whatever the hell you want and it doesn't matter. There is one name in particular that is absolute legendary, that did a lot of the same stuff. Maybe not, considered racist, but effed up a lot and made a lot of mistakes. And I know that a lot of people from this crew and from our audience love him. His name is Randy Orton. Mm. And people forget about that. And people love him to this day. But I'm sure there's a small amount of people that remember what he did back then and maybe haven't forgiven him. Fans need to get their head out of their ass, do the proper research, and look, if you don't want to forgive her for how she departed TNA X amount of years ago, her exit was not real smooth at the start of the pandemic and whatever happened back then, fine, whatever. If she's she's trying to prove that she's grown as a person, as a performer, and she's given people backstage the opportunity to come and talk to her about everything and anything. Look, she's made mistakes. Are you going to hate her forever? Okay. If you want to, that's on you. That's on you. And look, she's working with everyone and anyone under the sun in the industry today in that company.
But, fans, and we'll get to you in just a second, Baron, because I know you've been very vocal about this.
No, it's all good.
But fans are very, very vocal about this. And sometimes they just can't let it go. But there has to come a point where maybe just let the two figure it out. Why is it that the fans think they are owed an apology from Tessa? Why? Because it didn't even involve the fans, man.
They also want an apology from John Cena. I mean, this is
but at the end of the day, here, as if we consider ourselves, if we look into the business aspect of things here, I understand. I totally get your guys' point. If I don't pay $1,500 for a ticket to go see a show, your wrestlers are no longer wrestling. I pay for your ability to wrestle. Simple as that. And as a fan, and it's a shitty way to look at this, but it's the honest truth. We are helping pay these wrestlers. So wrestling fans always feel like they have a heavy voice in everything they do. And they do, and we go over the fucking top with it a lot of times, right? We are a weird group of individual fan bases. We are. And I love us all for all many different reasons. However, when we do apples and oranges on comparisons of what has done right and what has been wrong in the wrestling world, one thing we don't do, and I don't care what our opinions are on things in life. What we don't do is judge someone based off their race. We don't do it. We don't do it as human beings. If we do, if this was 19 fucking 40 or 60 or whatever the case may be, could be an argument, but not really, not from my end of this. But in let's just say I don't even remember what year this was when this happened.
2020.
Okay. 2020. Prime example. If we're still judging people and calling people racial slurs in 2020, whether we're wrestling or we're bagging people's groceries in this society, and we're doing any type of racial remarks, goddamn right, every fan in this world that is paying $500 or however the case may be for a ticket can call someone racist. Simple as that. I think it's disgusting that we people tend to back these people up on this. You just don't. Yes, we could grow as human beings. We do not judge human beings off of things people cannot control, man. Simple as that, man.
No.
It's disgusting, and it's not even a thing that we should even have to discuss as human beings. And if a fan wants to call her racist, goddamn right, because you know what? She made racist comments, and I know she's tried to make amends on it, but she made the comments. So you are always, as a entertainment value, whether you're a wrestler, it's just, you just don't do it. I'm not calling her, it's not,
what he's reading is the comment from Hellsboy.
Again, we're basing things off of race. We don't do that. Okay, I don't care if you live in Mexico, wherever you live. We're basing things off of race, and that's not what we do as human beings.
Here's the thing. But here's the thing. Okay, it happened between two people, and from two people, it's blown up because of social media. It's blown up to the wrestling fans who have made their own opinions about something that didn't even involve them, and now they're actively going to these fucking TNA shows, which pisses me off, and calling Tessa a racist during her match. Now, that's just like.
But I guess the real question here is,
I understand. Hold on. I understand that, you go to shows, you go to wrestling shows, and you want to try to intimidate the heel because Tessa's a heel. You want to try to get under the skin of the heel and fuck with the heel if you can. But for them to actively be paying money for a ticket to go to the show just to call out a racist, like call Tessa a racist because you can't see her on the street, that's bullshit to me. And that is cowardice to me. To have all these fans collectively get together and go to these TNA shows and disrupt the fucking show for the other fans that they don't even know what's going on. That's what I'm talking about. Like the other fans that are at the show trying to enjoy the show, they're being disrupted because these other assholes are fucking calling her racist and shit like that and disrupting their enjoyment.
Right. So when we're talking about chants of racist, like people saying racism or in the audience, right? When we're having this conversation, are they making a chant of this, or is it like one or two individuals?
I don't know. I didn't see
it. But it sounds like to me it's a chant because I've heard this on social media and I've seen the videos. It's a chant. It's not 5 to 10 people. Like it's a good portion of individuals.
But it's not everybody, Baron. It's not everybody that's in the crowd saying that she's a racist. It's those certain individuals that are collectively getting together to chant these racist allegations,
Right.
Don't make racist allegations. Don't make racist remarks, and we wouldn't be in this consideration. You're entertainment Now
it didn't happen to you. It didn't happen to me. It happened between two other people. It happened between in the locker room. And the only reason we're talking about this, the only reason it's being brought into light, is because of social media and the attention that it's been drawn to, and then it's drawn onto other fans. And this is what we get. This is what we get. I can't go to a TNA show without Tessa Blanchard coming outside or out to the ring without having all these fucking racist chants being made against her. I'm there to watch a fucking show. I'm not there to chant with the fans saying, oh yeah, she's a racist. Guess what? I'm not there to do it. And that pisses me off. If they're out there shelling that kind of money to do that, then they ought to be on the sidewalk in front of the fucking stadium with signs in the air saying, hey, don't go to this TNA show because you have a racist working for the company. Did they do that with Hogan back in the day? Did they call him a racist? Did the fans like say, oh, Hogan's a racist? No, because at Raw, when he came out, they just fucking booed him. They booed the shit out of him. And I'm not saying there's no comparison between what Hogan's done and what Tessa Blanchard's done. There's no comparison. But it's just that if I'm there to watch a wrestling show, I'm there to watch a wrestling show. I'm not there to talk about racial stuff. You know what I'm saying?
No, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I totally get what you're saying.
However, Bellsboy said this perfectly. Social media is a disease, and it is.
Yeah.
That's why we're talking about this.
Yeah. And I think all in all, I think we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. I for one, I'm excited for Tessa to be back.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that she's my favorite, but I can appreciate her talent. She is putting in 100%.
Yeah.
When she's out there. And look, TNA wouldn't bring her back if they thought there was going to be a problem. TNA is in a position now where they are seeing significant growth. Okay?
Yes.
They're not going to do something that's going to hurt their company. And they, if someone else on the outside has another opinion, that's on them.
Mm-hmm.
If she's in the company and she's putting forth her best, her best attitude and working with everyone and proving herself.
And I want to make one thing very, very, very clear here with my comments. Racism is not cool. Nobody should ever be judged by the color of their skin. And if this is what Tessa did, because we have no definitive proof, we don't know.
We don't know what she said to her.
Hearsay. This is all hearsay. We have no definitive proof. We just know what we've been fed on social media. But the thing is, at the end of the day, I don't condone racism. I don't condone any of that shit. But I'm also not going to pay the money to go to a TNA show and have these fans disrupt my good time for that. And make me feel like I'm guilty of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's not fair to me, and it's not fair to the other fans that paid the money to actually go watch a wrestling show.
Yeah.
Because of one person's actions, allegedly.
Yeah.
And we're going to leave it at that because we have been on here for way too long. We need to wrap this up because that was actually the last story. So we need to wrap this up. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're up to 230 subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, liking the videos, watching the videos, chatting with us here on YouTube.
And sharing your opinions. Yeah.
And sharing your opinions. That's what we're all here for. And we certainly do appreciate you being here. And Baron, I still love you, buddy.
Yeah, man, we'll talk offside on this one, bud.
I love you, man.
I love you all too, but we have to navigate a different direction with this.
Yes, absolutely. So with that being said,
picture, please.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Picture. No, it's regarding me. God damn it, Max. No.
Well, hold on. With that, hold on.
I'm logging off. I'm gonna turn my camera off. I don't want to see it.
No.
Yes,
You definitely want to see this.
Okay. It doesn't have me, right?
No, I want to make it up to you, Baron. With our discussion that we just had, I want to make it light. I want to make your night a little bit better. So does Max.
Oh, my night's great, baby.
Okay, well, let's make it even better. We were talking in our chat about the Mount Rushmore of women wrestlers.
Okay,
and one of them was, I believe, Charlotte Flair, and who was the other one, Max? That was on that.
Charlotte, Lita, Rhea, and China were on the one that I sent.
So yeah, and two of them didn't belong there as far as I said, but Max said if Baron had his way, the Mount Rushmore.
That is, I mean, how could you even make another argument of this? We could have another 2-hour show on how I could prove that this is the Mount Rushmore.
But she would have to, I would think, wouldn't she have to have some sort of different facial like faces, like this one?
Yeah, but I feel like some of these, like, don't look. Some of these don't even look the same.
They don't. No, they don't. But they would have to. I would feel like they would have to have some sort of different faces, to make it perfect. To give the different emotions of Liv Morgan.
I think this is perfect, and I plan on visiting this site 2 to 3 times a year.
I have to show my wife this because. Some people had used AI to do a Mount Rushmore of their favorite women wrestlers.
Well, this is AI. Yeah, this is absolutely AI.
Right, it's AI, of course.
And they did it with that slut.
They did it with. My wife does not.
Outros, folks. Outros. Catch me on Twitter at Scumbag Jordan with 3 ends.
Wow!
She know like he live. She know like he live.
Me and love it live. Love it live.
God. With that being said, Baron, we already know your socials. Scumbag Jordan with 3 ends. Max?
You can find me at Max Magus. You can find my other podcast at Our Shots Podcast. You can listen to that podcast wherever you listen to podcasts or go to random-shots.net.
Wow. J-Bone.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I love my baby. She has some strong opinions. You can find me on the old Twitter box at jbone5150. You can find the old vintage Bone over on that other little show called Total Nonstop Impact on Thursdays, talking about TNA. Join us live.
And can Baron go find your wife on social media so that they can argue about Liv Morgan?
No, you know what? I'm going to find
Mrs.
J-Bone on Facebook, and I'm going to send her a picture of Liv Morgan every single day going forward, just to ruffle the feathers a little bit here.
And Max, you have been challenged by Mir to do the same introduction next week, but in your very best Paul Heyman impression.
Oh, that's beautiful. I like it.
That is going to be.
Let's go.
That is going to be hard, but I got faith in you, Max. You're my best friend. I got faith in you, buddy.
Do you know how many times I watched the video of Heyman introducing Brock Lesnar today just so that I could try to get it down?
But you have to be bombastic.
You have to use a certain level of charisma, like over the top.
My name is Max Magus, and I am the spokesman for the reigning, defending, undisputed WWE champion. Like that. And I know.
Max nails it every fucking time with his
trying to get it down is hard, but Max, I got faith in you. I know you can do it.
You can do it, bro.
And in the meantime, while Max is going to practice his Paul Heyman, you can follow the show at The Ramblers Pod on X. You can also find us on Facebook at Ramblers Unleashed. And you can also find us on Twitch. We're everywhere, man. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe. Thank you for 230 subscriptions. We certainly do love you. We appreciate you. Thank you. And like the video, subscribe to the channel. And that tells YouTube that you like what we're doing and suggests our videos to other people. So with that being said, Max, I love you. I love you, buddy. You know that. With that being said, we will talk next Tuesday. So love wrestling, watch wrestling, and enjoy professional wrestling. And we will talk to you on Tuesday. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.